Hopefully you can hear me. Hello everybody. Maybe you can put in the comments if you can hear me and see me. I've got another screen here trying to figure out what's happening. I did a few of these in lockdown. Oh wow, hang on. I'm echoing now. What a pro start. I did a few of these in lockdown. And yeah, maybe drop a note in the comments if you if you tuned in for any of those. I've kind of forgotten how to do this, so yeah. So thank you so much if you have pre-ordered my new album Gallants, which looks like this. They're all in the post, so thank you so much for the support, and thank you if you came to see me on tour at the start of the year with Maz O'Connor as well, and also thank you if you've already bought tickets for next year's tour, which is January, February 2027. I'm coming to all sorts of places. I'm doing two different shows in Birmingham. I'm doing my biggest London show for about 10 years really, which is going to be at Bush Hall. So I'll put the dates in the chat at the end, but thank you so much for that. Oh wow, I've got some comments, loud and clear. Love the lockdown chats. Oh, amazing, thank you. Yeah, so if you have any questions about this record, pop them in the chat and I will try. I have to look down to see them. I haven't managed to get it here. Is there a way to get that there? Oh, I don't know. But I thought I got a couple on email, and I made some bullet pointed notes. So yeah, Gallants is my 9th solo album. There was a review the other day that said it was 8th, but they're not counting one of them. I can guess which one they're not counting. But yeah, it's my 9th solo record. So I've been making it for it's taken about 3 years. The earliest bits on it were recorded 3 years ago now, which is the opening track, which is Flora, the Lily of the West. Some of Archie Churchill Moss's parts, I'll talk about Archie in a little bit, but Archie's parts were recorded quite a long time ago now. But yeah, so I've been working away on it, and I think it's come out really well. It's I suppose it feels to me like a return to the thing that I'm most known for. That sounds ridiculous to say, but the thing that I'm most known for, the last studio album that I released was called The Outlander, and that was kind of a bit of a trying to do a different thing, and this is like back to my main activity, I suppose. So yeah, I'm really proud of the way it's turned out, and I'm glad that it took that amount of time to get it right. And I'm really pleased with the reception so far. If you pre-order the record, you should have got an email this morning with your MP3 copy and WAVs and FLACs if you requested those. So sorry, I'm looking down because I'm looking at the chat. So Suzanne says, what's the relevance of the cover picture on the album? So the cover photo was taken by my friend Robin Cluley, who's been taking photos of me for a few years now. He actually took my wedding photos as well. But let me hold it up. So this is Robin's work, and we did this photo shoot at a place called Vessel Studios in Liverpool, which is an amazing film and photography studio near me. And what I wanted to do was something with some sort of references to British traditions in it. So the jacket, I should have got the jacket and held it up. The jacket is based on a straw bear, as many people have spotted. But some of the outfit as well is based on this thing they have in Devon called the Hunting of the Earl of Roan. And the Hunting of the Earl of Roan, he wears a sort of Hessian boiler suit, basically, with a mask that is sort of similar to that but a bit different. And he wears slices of bread on a piece of rope around his neck. So I've got, hang on, let me see if I can line it up. I've got some Nokia 3310s on a piece of rope around my neck. And the mask is similar to the Earl of Roan mask, but also with some elements from Japanese No theatre on it. And it's got a crown that's made out of woodbine and ivy. See if you can spot the relevance there. And I have a Rickenbacker 360-12 in my hands, and I've got my trainers on. So the main references for that were Straw Bear and the Hunting of the Earl of Roan mask, and also a little bit of influence, I think, subliminally, from an album called Morris On, which lots of people will be familiar with, which is the first album of kind of electric Morris music. So I think I've got 1973 in my head. I think it might be 73, but it's Ashley Hutchings and Dave Mattox and Richard Thompson and John Kirkpatrick and Barry Dransfield playing Morris music on electric instruments. But on the cover of that, Ashley Hutchings has got a Flying V guitar, and what's he dressed as? Richard Thompson's dressed as Robin Hood. Barry Dransfield is dressed as the Molly from Molly Dancing. But yeah, there's a bit of influence from that anyway. Let's see if there's any other questions. Thanks from French Canada, Quebec. Oh wow, yeah. If you're watching from outside the UK, drop that in the chat as well. Thank you so much for tuning in. Nothing is stronger than a 3310, says Amy Stokes. Well, as I discovered when I tried to drill through 12 of them with a pillar drill. Yeah, so I thought what I'd do is I would play the record and then I will sort of talk over it, so hopefully I can get the sound levels right. So yeah, sorry, going back to the cover. What's the significance of the cover picture? I've been asked in a few interviews. I've been doing quite a few interviews in the last couple of weeks, and people have been saying, what is a gallant? And I've been saying, that's a gallant. That outfit is a sort of imagined tradition based on some real ones, as much as they can be real. That's a whole other question. But I sort of wanted to imagine a new tradition and then not say explicitly what it is. But when we get to the track 3 Gallants, you can sort of make up your own mind. Yeah, so I'll put on the record and then I'll talk over it if that's okay. And if you have any questions, drop them in the chat. And I don't know if you can hear my cat in the background. There is definite cat meowing coming through my headphones. So yeah, so there's 9 tracks on the record. The first one is called Flora, the Lily of the West. So this is a song that I've known in different forms for quite a long time. I've kind of reached the point now where I don't really research songs from books. I've got a lot of folk song books, but I don't tend to delve into them unless I am already looking for other versions of something I already know. But this is one that seeped into my brain kind of through osmosis, in a way. Like, you just hear songs and then think that you'll get round to doing them eventually. So I had the idea for this banjo riff, and that's what really kicked it off. And then Archie Churchill Moss is on accordion on this and recorded his parts quite a while ago, like I say. What else? Yeah, the rest of it is me, really, I think. I'm not sure there's any other guests on this one. So I'm playing banjo and acoustic and electric guitars and double bass, and there's a bit of lap steel on there, and I'm singing, obviously. Okay, so I'll put the record on and I will say things as they occur to me. Right, hope you can hear that. Oh, someone says, do you have the CD too for show? And I do. When first I came to England, my fortune to find. That's what it looks like. A pretty different Devonshire most pleasing to my mind. Her nosy cheeks and ruby lips like arrows pierced my breast. And the name she bore was Flora, the lily of the West. I
lovely Flora, and she promised not to go. Until a tale was told to me that filled my heart with woe. They say she's got another man who holds my love in jest. But still I trusted Flora.
This took ages to get right. I was still mixing this the day before mastering, after lots of attempts. It's just quite a kind of fine balance between all of the elements, really. And the drums are quite hard to get this sort of rhythm right. Because I'm going to fade it down a little bit. Because what you have to do is get the balance between the on and off beats, so the kick and snare. Oh, someone says there's an echo. Oh, I think I know why. Let's see if I can get rid of the echo. Oh, can't get rid of the echo. Let me see if I can figure that out. Oh, hopefully you can hear it still here. I don't know if that's got rid of the echo. Maybe drop into the chat. The problem is I can't do that. Now you definitely. I'm definitely going to have that on. Better. Okay. Oh, I've messed it up already. I'm going to mess with the settings while I'm talking to you. Okay, there we go. I think I finally might fix it at the end of track 1. Just take my headphones out. Okay, I can't quite remember what I was saying before I got distracted on that. Oh yeah, that's right. So it's the balance between the kick and snare and the in-between beats. It was really hard to get right. Right, so track 2. Okay. Hopefully you can all hear this. Echo is back now, yeah. That was me messing around with it.
When I was a little boy, to London I did go.
Okay, I think I might have solved the sound. So yeah, track 2. This is called When I Was a Little Boy, and it was collected from a man called John Stickle in a place called Unst, which is in Sheffield. Oh, thanks. Yeah, so I first heard this track, this song, sung by a man called Roy Harris. So Roy Harris was quite a staple of the kind of British folk revival, folk club scene particularly. He ran a club in, I think, Nottingham, and he released a load of records on Topic Records. And this one it's the same record that I think it's the same record that I learned a song called Bold Lovely that was on the Outlaw from, which is called Champions of Folly. Martin Carthy. And then Martin and Dave Swarbrick recorded this song for, I think it must have been in the 90s, a duo album. So it's another one that I've known for a while and kind of wanted to get around to. But this is also a track where I had the rhythm and the arrangement in mind, and then I was trying different songs to it. So the drums on this are a guy called Matt Stockham Brown. If you are around Bristol, you will know that's where most incredible drums. And I'd never worked with him. My wife had worked with him, strangely enough. So that was good. But I asked him if he'd be up for playing some songs, and he played on Spencer the Rover on this record. But this was at the end of the session. I just wanted him to do the thing that I associate with. And I think he was a bit taken aback. Well, I think he was a bit, I don't really have a so I described what I wanted him, and he just played for 3 or 4 minutes. And then I edited it into this, and then found a song to go with. So the ideas kind of all coalesced together. Commentary is a bit lost for me to be. So the fire's already burning and the wheels already turned. I'll turn my mic up, sorry. Yeah, and then the brass on it is the brass on it was sorted out by Josh Poole, who played on the second False Lights record. Oh, it's the Art Root record that I produced. Josh played saxophone on that. And then he brought Aaron Wood into it, who's the trumpeter. And the trombone is a guy called Barney Philpott, who plays with Public Service Broadcasting. Josh plays with Paul Beaton. Josh and both. I think I've done it. Tell me if that's about. Yeah, so Barney and Aaron played amazing solos on it, and all I had to do was kind of fit all the parts together. But because there's the only guitar on it really is that sustainer guitar, it was a bit hard to get harmonically right. I had the idea in my head, and then trying to turn that into reality was a bit tricky. Okay, track 3. So this is called The Nightingale. You might have heard this one already. This was a single about a year ago, I think. It's been so long. So the first 3 verses of this were collected from a man called Mr. Lolly, Charles Lolly, who lived in Driffield in East Yorkshire, and this was collected by Frank Kidson, who's a folk song collector working around Yorkshire, and he was based in Leeds. There's actually a project at Leeds Conservatoire at the moment that Bryony Griffith is leading of a Frank Kidson choir to celebrate 60 years of Leeds Conservatoire. But yeah, so Kidson collected 3 verses of this, and it's got a really striking tune, and it's in his book, which is called, I think it's called Traditional Tunes of England. I should have got the copy from downstairs. But there's 3 verses, and then I had to get some more from Irish versions of this song and sort of mesh it all together. But the tune is as Mr. Lolly sung it. Hopefully you can hear me all now. So the main guitar part on this was recorded on, so it's a 1959 Harmony Mars, that's what the guitar is. It's that kind of black sparkly one, you might have seen it in some videos. But I fitted a rubber bridge to it, which is what all the cool kids do now. So it is literally a piece of rubber instead of the bridge. And it gives that kind of plinky sound, but Taylor Swift uses it, and Phoebe Bridgers and me, and Madison Cunningham, who I'm a big fan of. Balance of your voice and music much better now, thanks. Oh, perfect, great. So yeah, the main riff is my rubber bridge guitar, and it is tuned C G C G C D, and then capoed up really high. So it's a bit of a sort of tune it down, then capo it back up again. I'm going to do a tutorial of how to play this riff at some point. I've just not had time to do it yet. But yeah, so there's the rubber bridge on it, and then it's doubled with an old nylon string guitar. So I mentioned it a few minutes ago, but I teach at Leeds Conservatoire. I'm Professor of Folk Composition now at Leeds Conservatoire. And one of the things there is an instrument library that you can sign things out. So I signed out, I think it must be from the 1960s, a very old classical guitar from the instrument library to double the guitar part on this. So it's doubled in normal tuning. Oh, actually, maybe I tuned it to Dadgad. But there is a high rubber bridge guitar and then there is a low classical guitar. And the sound you hear is the blend of both of them. And then the other thing I signed out is a fretless bass. So I don't know. I really like Peter Gabriel, as you may have gathered if you have been following me for a while. And I really liked that sort of swoopy fretless bass that Tony Levin plays on Peter Gabriel records. So I thought, well, how hard can it be? And I signed out a fretless bass and did that in half an hour. Okay, so fourth track. This is the centerpiece of the record. This is a long one. So it's called Naomi Wise, and it's from a family of songs of murder ballads. And I was thinking about how all of these songs with different names all have the same plot and are all remarkably similar, but come from different places, and a lot of them are based on real events, and they're not all the same murder. So there's a song that we do with False Lights that's called Murder in the Red Barn, or the murder of Maria Martin, and that is a real thing that happened in Suffolk. And then this is called Naomi Wise, and Naomi Wise was murdered in the late 1700s, I think. Maybe she was born in the late 1700s and murdered in the 1800s. But yeah, I was thinking about how there's loads of songs with the same plot, and this is a thing that keeps happening. And Naomi Wise, when you hear it, it's in the Harry Smith anthology of folk music. When you hear it sung, it's usually sung with this tune, but at quite a pace. So yeah, I slowed it down and I put a new bit of tune in. This bit coming up. This bit. Left with no this is a new bit of tune. Took up with a boy that she met by the farm, though engaged to another, he had to beguile. I'm really pleased with how this song came out, because I had I had an idea in my head that is quite out of my comfort zone, especially with the singing. I wanted the singing to be like Nick Cave or someone, I suppose, or Damon Albarn when he sort of croons that, like on the Universal, or there's a song Out of Time on Think Tank by Blur, and I really wanted to sing like that, but I can't. So it took quite a lot of going. I'm quite happy with how it came out, really, but it took a lot of effort to get there, because as I say, it's right out of my comfort zone. And I think just playing so slowly is very difficult. The drumming is so slow. So this is me on drums again. I don't know if anybody saw me on the Richard Thompson tour I did maybe it was the summer before last now. Yeah, maybe it's 2 years ago. But Dave Mattix was playing drums on that tour, so I got to spend a few weeks hanging out with Dave Mattix. And this is something that he does so well, playing slow but completely steady. So I was trying to channel that in. And I think the bass on this is probably my Hofner violin bass. Yes. Which, if you know about basses, you'll know exactly what that is. Oh yeah, and the strings on this are David and Paige. So David is the creative director of Orchestra of the Swan. So during the pandemic lockdown, I was invited to record something remotely for orchestra this week, which was improvising over Vivaldi piece. I think it's still up on it's up on Apple Music and Spotify and all of those places. But it was improvising over a movement from the Four Seasons by Vivaldi, and it was loads of fun. And then they invited me to do another project with them, where I sang "See Emily Play" by Pink Floyd with the orchestra. But they do lots of repertoire that you would expect an orchestra to do, and then they're quite experimental in the stuff they put around it in a programme. And the way they present themselves as well is quite inspiring for an orchestra. It was a really fun thing to be involved with, and David is such an amazing musical mind that I really wanted to get him involved, so I asked him to do some strings on this. So he's playing violin and viola. And then the cello is my next door neighbour, who's a friend of a friend, who's called Georgina Asgard, who occasionally plays cello with Liverpool Philharmonic. Her partner, her husband, formerly was the principal cello of Liverpool Philharmonic, and my friend Gwen put us in touch. So that was a really nice introduction. And then the guitar on this is my Rickenbacker, the same one that's on the cover. This one, that one, the 360-12. Oh yeah, and there is a guitar part on this. What's in the file is it's called strings guitar, which is if you take a delay pedal and you turn it up to 100% wet and then feed that into reverb, and then sort of with your thumb very gently stroke the strings to build up the sound. So this is a Ed O'Brien from Radiohead thing. This is cribbed entirely from him. If you sort of stroke the strings like that, it builds up this pad that sounds like an orchestra. So you can sort of hear it in the chorus now. This was a mix that actually was greatly helped by the record was mastered by Stephen Harrison, who works just around the corner from here. And getting the loud bits to be loud enough was quite an undertaking. So that was really helped by Stephen's expertise. Oh, and the Glockenspiel. The Glockenspiel was another thing that I bought off eBay, and somebody had it since the 1960s, I think. And they were kind of clearing out their loft. But I've been looking for an orchestral glockenspiel for years and years and years, and I've always wanted one, and finally I found one. And I did promise the man that it would have a good home and it would be used on record. So there we go. It's my new glockenspiel. So if you were listening to this on vinyl, this is the point when you turn the sides over. End of side A. And side B starts with this song, which is the title track, I suppose. It's called 3 Gallants. So this song, let's turn my mic up a bit more. People are asking for my mic to be turned up a bit more. So this song is called 3 Gallants. This is written by me, but it's a song that sort of came to me rather than was consciously written, or at least the first few verses just sort of arrived fully formed. And I almost don't want to explain it too much, really. I think I was thinking about songs like Scarecrow by Mike Waterson and Crazy Man Michael from Legion League, from Purple Propulsion, Richard Thompson and Dave Schwartz. I was thinking about how they hint at what's happening and they don't say it, they don't spell it out too much, especially Scarecrow. And I was thinking about that a lot, if you sing traditional songs, if you spend all your time singing traditional songs, I think you're used to a story that says exactly what it means, and the parts all happen in linear order, and it's a story that goes from start to finish forward in time. But there's a whole world of songwriting that doesn't do that, and I find impressionistic songwriting quite hard, which is a thing that enters the teaching that I do, because I try and tell people how to do it when I don't really understand how to do it sometimes. But yeah, I was thinking about making a story where you have to fill in some of the gaps yourself. Oh, this is a good question. Sequencing is the hardest bit. What consideration did you make to track ordering, especially when thinking about the different way people listen to vinyl, CD, and digital? It is, and I think my first record, which was called Sweet England, one of the reasons that it worked was the sequencing was good. I just sort of lucked out with that first time, and then I've always put quite a lot of weight on the sequencing of it. And when I produce for other people, I have strong opinions on that, as Blair Dunlop or whoever will tell you. So, what consideration do you make to track ordering? I think I really like, even on CDs, even on records of mine that haven't come out as vinyl, I quite like that two sides of vinyl idea, because I think two arcs is a lot easier to make something that has an emotional journey. So it starts at one point and then has a landing point, and then it's same to the end. So all my records have two sides to them, even if they're on CD. And in the mastering, I try and get them to put an extra long gap between those. So Sweet England has it. I think there's 10 tracks on it. So after track 5, there's a slightly longer gap between tracks. And Upsetter is the same, and the Outlander is the same, and the Flame is the same. So yeah, it's really important. But I think you want a good opener. You want something that grabs people's attention. And then with traditional songs, sometimes they take a bit more attention, and you know what I mean. That they take a bit more effort to listen to. So I put those in the middle, the ones that take a bit more effort, and then you want to leave people on a good note. So the closing track is really important as well. But you know, the feel for it, it's all informed really about albums that I grew up with. Yeah, I've kind of learnt to do this in my own mind from the records that I loved growing up, really. So Spencer the Rover, you may have already heard, this was also a single a while ago. And this arrangement of it is one that I've been singing since about 2004, 2005. I know it's been mentioned in a few places, but after my first record, which was called Sweet England, there was another record that got scrapped, and this was one of the tracks that was going to be on that, so I played it live a lot. If you saw me in 2004, 2005, I will have played this track. And then I sort of buried it for a bit, partly because... Oh, someone's saying, who played pipes on the last track? That was Andy May. I should have mentioned, so the pipes were Andy May, who I have known from around for quite a long time, amazing Northumbrian piper, but I'd never got to work with until now, so I just dropped him an email and he recorded the pipes and sent them to me, and we had a really good kind of backwards and forwards email collaboration. But I was really grateful to him for doing it. And the harp on the last track was Niamh Flynn, who was a pupil at Leeds Conservatoire and graduated maybe 4 or 5 years ago now, and is now harp teacher at Leeds Conservatoire on the folk degree. So Spencer the Rover. So this arrangement is almost the same as I've been playing all that time. There's maybe a few tweaks, but I think the main thing with it is it didn't feel like a song that should be being sung by someone who's 22, 23. And I came back to it in the pandemic. I think as a new parent, this song made a lot more sense. So it's just such a good song. This is the thing with traditional music, like, you have to take a step back and just think, these are such good songs. So, it's such a privilege to have them to sing. Flora says, Sweet England was my first ever folk gig and got me into folk music. Oh, that's so nice. Yeah, thank you for hanging around all this time. Let's see if there's any questions I missed. Yeah, so the brass on this one, this is Barney Philpott again on trombone. I scored this one out, though. On When I Was a Little Boy, there was a bit more leeway for them to do what they wanted. This was scored out, and all of the other brass instruments were played by Steve Pretty, who is the leader of Hackney Colliery Band. And Steve is also the musical director for Robin Ince's, so the Cosmic Shambles events. There's 9 lessons and carols for curious people that happens at Christmas. I've done that quite a bit. So Cosmic Shambles have a new film coming out about music, which is presented by Charlotte Ritchie, who you may have seen on Taskmaster, if you're a Taskmaster fan, or on Fresh Meat, or on Ghosts. And she is presenting a documentary about music, which I did an interview for. So I'm really looking forward to seeing that. I think it's going to be really good. But yeah, Steve Pretty is the musical director for their events. So that's how I met him. And he has a collection of old brass instruments. I think this is flugelhorn, tenor horn, euphonium, and I think they're all old ones that are in his collection. One of the things that Steve does is he has a conch shell which he plays in shows quite a bit, and lots of electronic looping brass things. I played this to my wife this morning and she said, how many versions of this do you have? I said it's a great song. Oh, Suzanne has asked another question. I think I'll come back to that question because it's a tricky one. Okay, so this song is called American Stranger, and it's been quite widely recorded, really. Nick Jones recorded a version under the title The Green Mossy Banks of the Lee, and it was really widely collected. But this tune and words come from the New Penguin Book of English Folk Songs, which was published probably about 10 years ago now, which is compiled by Steve Roud and Julia Bishop. But me and some other people were invited to play an event for a book launch for it when it came to Bath. So I think Beth Porter, who you might know from the Wayward Band and from Spell Songs maybe, put that together, and Lucy Farrell and his sister Jackie and myself played some songs at the book launch, which I'm not sure Steve Roud was amazingly pleased about, but that's another story. But this is the version of Green Mossy Banks of the Lee that's published in that book, and I think Steve's rationale for what was included in that book is the versions that were the most widely collected. So he was scoring them on popularity with traditional singers in the early 1900s. But it's just got this amazing continuing tune. So it's actually really hard to sing. To be able to sing those lines without taking a breath is technically very difficult. So it was a bit of a challenge in that way as well. But if you can do it, if you can get into doing it, it's so rewarding to sing. And then the guitar on this one is my Gretsch Country Gentleman. You may notice the theme. I mentioned the Hofner violin bass. I have a 1967 Gretsch Country Gentleman, which is the kind of clearest guitar for this tuning. So it's C, G, C, G, C, D again. Which most of the time live I play my silver Tokai Talbot, which is on the cover of Sweet England. But the Gretsch is kind of quite big and cumbersome, otherwise it would probably take over that role. But yeah, Gretsch Country Gentleman through a Marshall JTM 50 turned out really loud. See, this is what I really wanted to do with the Outlander. The album before this, the idea I had in mind was an electric English fingerstyle guitar record, and I was trying to get that sound, and I just couldn't seem to do it. And I think I finally cracked it with this song. So that's nice. And then lots of other instruments on this. There was a hammer dulcimer, which I bought off my friend and former agent and Miles. So yeah, hammer dulcimer. There is also an electric Appalachian dulcimer, which I made it electric, but it came from eBay. I think somebody made it as a kit. It looks like it was a kit, and it was made some time ago, and they made a measuring error, so it didn't play in tune, which is I guess why they were selling it on eBay. But it needed a 5mm piece of wood behind the bridge to make all of the notes play in tune. So once I'd figured that out, sounded really good. And then some bowed metal, that's some sheet metal like bowed with a violin bow. Loads of other stuff on that. Yeah. Oh, and yeah, and 12-string acoustic. Okay, we're 2 tracks from the end. So this song is called Train on the Island. So this is an old-time fiddle tune. People play it as a tune quite fast. It's quite a jolly tune, I suppose. But there is a song that goes with it. My favourite version of the song is by Bruce Molsky, who is the greatest old-time fiddle player and singer as far as I'm concerned, and a lovely man. I've met him a couple of times. But yeah, he sings a version of this. He's recorded it a few times. My favourite version is there is an online tutorial on how to play old-time fiddle, and he recorded it for that. You can, if you search Bruce Molsky Train on the Island, I think it's Peghead Nation is the YouTube channel, but he recorded a course in how to play old-time fiddle, and the free sample is him talking through this tune, this song. But again, just an amazing song. And I came up with the piano figure probably again in Leeds while waiting for some students to turn up. She don't know what she's worth. And that's my favourite bowed guitar trick. You've probably seen, if you've come to see me play live, you've probably seen me bow the guitar with a drumstick, which is an idea. I think when I was, how old would I have been? It would have been 1998 Reading Festival, so I would have been 17. I saw Sonic Youth, I'm pretty sure, unless that's a false memory. I think it was Reading Festival. But Lee Ronaldo from Sonic Youth used to bow his guitar with a drumstick. He probably still does. But I immediately started doing it, and I've done it on pretty much every record since. It feels like a sort of signature sound. But yeah, that kind of whining noise is bowing a guitar with a drumstick. And then these notes, are a Prophet 5 on one side and a vibraphone on the other side. Doubling the E flat and the B flat and the D. There's a D. I'll talk a little bit about the film that is streaming on Sunday in a bit. But yeah, trying to get the timing on this right was pretty tricky because it was never designed to be played by a band. And I think the bass on this is Mini Moog. And this vocal cloud comes from a vocal plugin. It's the last phrase of the vocal before it, through a plugin called Crystallizer, which is a Soundtoys plugin. And Crystallizer randomizes stuff, so you have to kind of regenerate it sometimes to try and find the best version of that sound. And then bounce that to disc and keep the best one.
You know, sometimes I think too much to say nothing at all. Oh, say sometimes I think too much.
Nothing like an uplifting song to end a record. So the final track. Oh yeah. Someone says, "Is that a mini Moog behind you, and do you use it on this album?" Yeah, that was the bass that you just heard. Was this mini Moog? So this is a reissue mini Moog from. Yeah, it'll be about 10 years old now. They reissued them. They're limited edition, and I think it was about 3,000, and this is probably number 2,800 and something. It was towards the end of the run, but I'm really lucky to have it, and I have used it on every record I've made since then. It's the bass line of the 2 Frankie Archer EPs that I worked on. This is the bass on all of it. And it's on the Art Brut record I produced, and it's on Blair Dunlop's record, and it's on the Flayon and this one. But I tend to use it for basses more than leads. Okay, so yeah, this is Fortune Turns the Wheel. You may know this one. This was the signature song of Louisa Killen, who I only met the once, but this song is most closely associated with her. And
but if some of my supposed friends,
yeah, I've known it for a while. My sister recorded it
who
15 years ago now.
turned their back on me while
It's just another one of those amazing songs that you're privileged to have access to as a performer. So I scored out these harmonies, and I really wanted a sort of trans male voice choir, and I thought that must exist, and I couldn't find one. So luckily for me, there was a professional choir called Trans Voices, and Coda from Trans Voices put me in touch with some of their members. So this is Jax Harms, Cian Lester and Julian Brett singing harmonies, and then also my former student Maddie Morris, who is doing great stuff and graduated quite a while ago now. But I was really pleased that Maddie agreed to sing on this as well.
Love tells the sweetest tale is to my friends and to my foes. You'll find I wish them well, that we might meet some other night when fortune turns.
Okay, Anto says, who is Charlie Shaw to whom you dedicate the song? Charlie Shaw was a student at Leeds Conservatoire, and I taught Charlie for a year and a half, and then Charlie sadly died. So this song was an idea, this arrangement was an idea that I discussed with Charlie, and I really wanted to see it through to completion. I tend to work quite slowly. Things take me a long time. I have the idea and then it gets filed away. But I really wanted to make sure that this one saw the light of day. So yeah, I dedicated it to Charlie. There's some more questions here. Great to hear there are dulcimers. There's lots of dulcimers. So in this film, which is that's what's being edited behind me. Oh, it's gone now. I'm still working on the audio mix, but it'll be ready by Sunday. We went to a studio in Southport called the Arch Studios, which is the most amazing looking place, with an engineer called Tom Dring, and with my live band. So Stu Proven on drums, who's been playing with me for nearly 10 years now and is also in False Lights. Jacob Stoney, who's been playing keys with me since Upsetera Live. And then Lucas Drinkwater on bass, I've known for a long time, but hadn't worked with until now. And then a new member of the band who's called Phil Ward, who is a guitarist and lute player and multi-instrumentalist. So a lot of Phil's work is at the he does a lot of work at the RSC playing lute, things like that. But he's also a great electric guitarist and was a really good fit in our band. So I'm really pleased to have found him. But yeah, Phil played dulcimers on American Stranger, and my bowed guitar and all the things that I had to teach him how to do. And Jacob plays Ons Martineau. I didn't even mention the Ons Martineau, which is on when I was a little boy, which I built myself a year or so ago. Someone says, favourite track? I'm not sure. I mean, I'm really pleased with all of this record. Sometimes, I probably shouldn't say this, but sometimes you finish a record and it's the best that you can do, but you know that it's not your best work, if you know what I mean. There's a couple of records of mine where I was pleased that I was pleased to get them out there so I could move on to it, but they weren't quite what I was hoping for, and I didn't quite hit the idea squarely. And then when I finished Upsetera and I took it to mastering, that was mastered in London by a guy called Barry Grint, who's a kind of legendary mastering engineer. And I came away from the studio, I got on the train back to Bristol, where I lived in Bristol at the time, and I just had this feeling of like, I think this one might be really good. But this album I get the same feeling from. I think, I think it's all really come together in the way it was supposed to. And I think some of that is taking my time over it. I think it drives people I work with mad sometimes. And also, just to describe the process sounds completely crazy. What do you mean you took 3 years to make a record? What do you mean you started recording something 3 years ago and you're still working on it the day before it's taken to be mastered? But you just have to factor that time in. You have to factor some time. This is something I say to people I'm producing quite often. We need to keep moving forwards. You need to yes and the project, but you need to leave some space to go, we need to retrace our steps and take a different tack. You need to leave that space in it, because yes, if you are a visionary genius, what you do on the day will be amazing. And there is a lot to be said for saying what you do on the day is completely valid. But I usually have an idea in mind that I'm searching for, and you try your best, but you have to recognise when it's not quite the thing that you were hoping for, and try a different tack. So that's what I try and do, and that's why it takes so long. Someone says, will False Lights be doing anything soon? I mean, I think False Lights will be doing something, but I don't know about the soon bit of that. False Lights is a kind of really heavy machine to try and get going and to move around, and it's also a very expensive machine. So I see Sam every couple of weeks because he also teaches at Leeds, as does Archie. So we will do something soon, but other projects, we have a lot to do. Sam has lots of projects on, I have lots of projects on, so it's whirring away in the background. So earlier on, somebody said, let me scroll back to it. Do you think you'll ever be able to tour this album with a band? I mean, I would love to say yes, but I'm not sure that's really that feasible. I'm not sure it's that feasible in 2026. The general rule is that most of my touring is solo, and I'm trying to take a band to festivals, even if that slightly loses money. So that's the plan. We've got one festival this year, which I think is on sale, but I haven't announced it properly yet because I've been reasonably busy with this record. But we're playing Lichfield Arts Festival with a small band. And then the tour in January, February will be just me on my own again, and we'll be announcing the supports for that quite soon. But I also have this band film because this is part of the motivation for doing this Live at the Arch film, which will be streaming on YouTube on Sunday. And it has a pay what you want donation ticket to it, so you can watch it for free. But if you buy a ticket, you're entered into a draw for some stuff. I've got some test pressings of which I will sign. I've got some t-shirts. I've got some mugs. I actually have an offcut from the Gallants jacket. So I think I will draw some tickets out, and people can choose what they choose what prize they want. But yeah, I really wanted to do that because I wanted a record of playing this album with a band, because I was worried that there wouldn't be a good record otherwise. I would love to tour with a band, but it's going to take quite a bit of work to get back to doing that, because I think just the cost of doing it has ballooned. My first 10 years of playing professionally, I mainly played with a band, and you could do it then. And you could do it then also because we were also all in our mid-20s, but it's just not feasible. I'm really sorry. So hopefully we can get back there. I need to sell 3 times the amount of tickets, really. So if you want to buy tickets to my solo tour and show that I can sell some tickets and that I can take a band out next time, that would be good. Yeah. If there's any other questions, drop them in the chat. I'm trying to think. Somebody emailed me a question, or maybe they put it on Instagram, asking what my favourite Britpop albums are, or my favourite Britpop bands. And that's quite a hard one, because a lot of the bands I liked. So I was the age to be into Britpop. I was 13 in 1994. So my relationship with a lot of those records was I wasn't old enough to go to gigs. Just by a couple of years, I wasn't quite old enough to go to gigs. But I really experienced all of that stuff through buying records. And I was quite an obsessive record buyer. So me and a couple of friends would get the bus to town on a Monday, because records came out on a Monday then. We would get the bus to town on a Monday and buy new records, which we had reserved at Andy's Records in Stafford. Or Mike Lloyd Music. Don't look for either of them, they're not there now. And I used to read the sleeve of those records on the bus on the way home before I could listen to it. But a lot of the bands that I was into at that point have sort of turned out to not be very nice people since then. So that's kind of put me off a lot of that music. That said, there's some music that I still listen to now. I mean, I think you can tell that I still listen to a lot of Radiohead. I still listen to a lot of that sort of mid-period Blur. I still listen to a lot of Pulp. And then there's a load of other bands that kind of are a bit forgotten about. There's a band called Straw who were from Bristol that I really liked, and a band called Ruth. It sounds like I've made these names up, but I really haven't. The main guy from Ruth was a guy called Matt Hales, who had a project called Aqualung after that, who were really good. But Ruth was his band with his brother, who I think also played on the Aqualung records. His brother was called Ben. But I really love that record. I think the record was called Harrison by Ruth. If you get a chance to if you see a copy of Harrison by Ruth, it's really good. Yeah. Oh, yeah. My son, my eldest, is really into Supergrass as well. So we've been listening to a lot of Supergrass. He had for his birthday party, he had Rockstar Fancy Dress birthday party, and he decided he wanted to go as Gaz from Supergrass. So I made him a Gaz from Supergrass costume. A couple more questions. Oh yes, Suzanne Smith says, can't make it on Sunday. Is there any other way of saying it? Yeah, you'll be able to watch it in perpetuity afterwards. So it's being premiered on Sunday, but you'll be able to catch up with it if you can't make it on Sunday. Do you have a favourite song to perform live? Maybe because of the story it tells. It changes all the time. There's a song that hasn't made it to a record yet that is a Dick Gaughan song. That is called Jock of Hazeldean, that I've played most gigs I've done for 4 or 5 years, maybe even longer than that. But I love singing that song, and I haven't actually put it on a record yet. Oh, Claire says, I've seen Matt Hales with Duke Special. That's right. Yeah, he's an amazing musician. Yeah, what other songs are my favourites to perform? Of this record, I don't know, I'm still working out how to play Three Gallants. I'm still working out how to sing it properly. My favourite songs, I suppose, to sing are the obvious ones that I play every show. I still love singing Sons of Earth. I still love singing Lord Douglas. When I do a good job of it, I really like singing the Isle of St Helena as well, that was on the Outlander. But those are all songs which carried on evolving a little bit after the record came out, and it took a little bit of practice to learn how to play. So I think I hope Three Gallants is going to be one of those ones that I'll keep working on how to play it. It's quite a hard guitar part as well, which is, when you get it right, is quite rewarding. When you get it wrong is really frustrating, and it's in a really odd tuning. But I think I'll do a tutorial on how to play that as well. So for any guitar players, I will put that on my YouTube. Yeah. Any other questions? Let me look in my notebook and see if there's anything else that I should talk about. Oh yeah, one thing is, if you pre-order the vinyl, thank you so much for pre-ordering the vinyl. If you pre-order the vinyl, it is eco vinyl, which is really good, because it is made of the offcuts of other people's vinyl, all smushed up. But it means that every single one of them is completely unique, and I don't know what I have in the box, and they're all shrink wrapped, so I haven't had a chance to see them. I've only opened 2 or 3, and they're all completely different. But the one I've got here, look, is this sort of burgundy colour. Maybe that's not coming across on camera. There's some sort of black swirls in it, like that, and some white swirls. I don't know if you can see that. But if you've pre-ordered the vinyl, it should be arriving in a few days. And I should do some sort of hashtag on Instagram, something like that. But post a photo of your vinyl, because I really want to see all of the different colours. One of the others I opened was blue and green spirals, sort of swirls. But I think they're all interesting colours, because they're all mashed up offcuts of different people's coloured vinyl. So please post a photo of your please post a photo of your vinyl when it arrives, and we'll have some sort of hashtag on social media to group them all together. Emily Stokes says, Sounds of Earth is one of my all-time favourite songs. It always makes me emotional, and I love the science folk crossover. Thank you so much. Yeah, I mean, what I say to people after shows so much is that I'll keep singing at gigs until I write a better one, and I'm not sure that's going to be anytime soon. I think it just came together in a sort of magic way. I've heard other songwriters say that the best songs are the ones that just fall into your lap fully formed. Someone else says, what's the cat called? I'm not sure I can lift the cat up. Let me see. He's by my feet at the moment. No, he's going to run away. The cat is called Iggy, and he is an old man now. We've had Iggy since he was a kitten, but he is, I think is he 13 this year? I think he's 13 this year. Yeah, he's very loud is the thing, and whenever I see anybody else's cat, can I get him? Let me see if I can get him. Ig, can I see him? There we go. Ig, do you want to say hello? No. There we go. That's Iggy. He's also big. He's a big lad. So whenever we feed someone else's cat, I'm always surprised at how small and scrawny they are. But that's because he's a massive cat loaf. Andy David Kemp says, yeah, he can't wait to see what colour my vinyl ends up being. Yeah, me too. So yeah, post your photos of your vinyl. Thank you so much for tuning in. I think that's about it. I thought this might be a bit more slick, but I don't think it can be accused of being slick. But I hope you enjoyed the record, and if you pre-ordered it, your digital file should be with you, and the physical copy should be with you any day now. And there's still time to pre-order your records. And I've also got quite a few things coming up. I am going to be in conversation on the Radio 2 Folk Show. I think a week tomorrow. I think I've got that right. There's a couple of other bits of radio which I will post about on social media. So if you don't follow me on social media, please like and subscribe, as they say. and that will keep you posted. If you're not on my mailing list, please sign up to that, and that will keep you posted with what I'm doing. And the tickets for the tour are on sale now. My agent will not be pleased if I don't mention that. And yeah, we'll be announcing the support for that quite soon. I know it's quite a long time in advance, but it really does help to book those tickets. So the last couple of tours I've announced quite a long time up front, and I think it's worked out because it means that people can definitely make it because they're definitely free, and there's a lot of time for the venue to know that it's definitely going to be all right. So yeah, some of these shows are the biggest ones I've done for quite a while, so I'm really hoping that's going to be a great tour. So yeah, all of those dates are on sale now, and you can still pre-order the record. And thank you so much. I mean, as mentioned, I know I work at a glacial pace, and every time one of these things comes around, I say how grateful I am to people who've been following me for a while. With every passing year, it gets more improbable that I'm still doing this. But I think at this point I don't know what else I would do. I don't think there's anything else that I can really do. I think it's just making folk albums for life now. So I need this one to do well enough that I can carry on making them, I suppose. But yeah, thank you so much. And the film is called Gallants Live at the Arch and will be premiered on Sunday. And yeah, there's a couple of things still to do on that, but I'm really pleased with how that's come out, and I can't wait for you to see that. So thank you very much for tuning in, and I will see you soon, hopefully. Enjoy the record and enjoy the rest of your evening, and thank you so much. See you soon.